Hey, what's up, guys? It's Kaim Thomas again, your fellow student at the Art Institute Online Division. All right, today we're going to have a nice topic about skateboards. Skateboards, the little things that you see guys jumping around and jumping over handrails or cruising by you really, really fast when you're walking to work. Those guys are having lots of fun. But today I'm going to tell you what those guys are riding and how they use those to maneuver around. I'm going to tell you the difference between a cruiser board, and I'm going to tell you the difference between a trick board. It's pretty simple, but it's kind of tech at the same time. We're going to start off really quick so I can show you the difference between the two. We're going to start off with a cruiser board. Cruiser boards are boards that are bigger and they have bigger wheels, longer trucks for a better turning radius, and better positioning for your feet. So we're going to start this off with this nice Frank Gruer board here. It's actually my wife's cruiser board, so she cruises around with me. Okay, so this board here, the board, or as we like to call it, the deck, this wood piece here, it's a 7-ply maple wood, and in between the middle of it is fiberglass. It is concaved, which means that in the middle of it, it swoops back and forth to hold the pressure of your body by convexing, so it equals out without just snapping in the middle. The wheels are very, very soft, and the durometer, which means the hardness of the wheel, this one here is a 101. So it's the softest of wheel you can get. This is one of the boards you get on, you push once and you go like about 2 or 3 blocks. This is the board. Okay, and these are called trucks. So like a car, these are the axles to the board. And this little piece here is called a kingpin. So this, you tighten this pin to make your trucks become stiff, or you loosen it to make your trucks become loose. So the difference is, if it's tight, you're going to have to kind of tic-tac. The guys move back and forth on their board when they turn the corner. As it is loose, you can just kind of lean into the turn. So it's sort of like sidewalk surfing, if you want to look at it that way. So remember, these boards are much, much bigger, and they're heavier because of all the things that are on them. The wheels are pretty heavy, the trucks are pretty heavy, and the board itself, because it's larger, holds up a lot of weight. Okay, so that's a cruiser board. Okay, so I'm going to show you this here. Okay, so if you look really, really close, I'll try to do this, the concave, so it goes from one side up to the other side up. So when you step on this board here, it convexes, so it pretty much goes the opposite way and holds your weight. Okay, cruiser boards are also wider, and they have these little things which we like to call hips. So that's that little piece that goes right there. This here helps you control your turn when you're on the board. Okay, now they have 2 sides to them. This part here, which is where your front foot would be, is called the nose. This part here, which where your back foot would be, is called the tail. Okay, doesn't really matter which way you ride it, but you can see the difference between where the hips are compared to each side of the board. This one's going to be a little bit further away. This one's going to be a little bit closer for your back foot to help maneuver it. Okay, so that's one board down. And now what we're going to do is we're going to look at what I like to ride around on is the trick board. Okay, so that's this board right here. And as you can tell to the other one, this is much, much smaller. This board in its width is a 7.5, which means it's 7.5 inches going across. And I wear a size 8.5, small feet. Okay, as you can tell, the trucks are small as well. The wheels are much, much smaller. Okay, but they both follow the same design of the nose and the tail and the concave. Okay, so you can see the hip. Okay, right on right here is the hip. Okay, and the nose and the tail as well. Okay, now the difference between the two is the smaller this board is, the easier it is for you to flip it and manipulate it in the air. So it defies gravity and man can fly. I do it. Also, it's very lightweight as well, but because the wheels are so small and it's constructed to be a little bit closer to the ground, you feel a lot more of the gravel or the street or contact to the ground when you're riding compared to when you do when you're on the cruiser board. The durometer of these wheels are a 97 DU, so that's pretty hard. And the skaters like to call the wheels ice, simply because with a lot of pressure that is applied to the wheels slide. So this helps us do like flip tricks onto ledges and slide across without the wheel getting stuck and you know, flipping off and, you know, going to the emergency room, which is not good, not good. Okay, so now I'm going to return back to the cruiser board, which you can see, like I said, is much, much wider, and the wheels are much, much bigger. Okay? See that spinning? So the wheelbase, which I'm going to teach you about the wheelbase. The wheelbase is the difference between the board overlapping from this edge to this edge of the wheel. Okay? You never, ever, ever want your wheels to stick on the outside of the board, because when you turn, your pressure pushes down on the board, you hit this wheel, and you're Superman launching yourself, which is not good at all. So remember, when you're riding a cruiser board, you don't want to have your trucks really, really, really extremely loose, because it is definitely dangerous, and the board goes very, very fast, and you need to keep control of what you're doing. All right, now, as for the trick board, you can ride this pretty much loose, or gooey, as we like to call it in the skate world, meaning that your trucks are pretty loose, because it doesn't really matter if you hit this or not, you know, pretty much like the wheelbase to this. It doesn't really matter, because you kind of get used to the fact of not being able to turn so wide and so quickly. The boards are made for stunts, and they don't go as fast, and they work pretty well for what they're made for, and that's tricks. I mean, you can travel on these for a long distance, but I guarantee you will be very, 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 very tired by the time you get there. So this is the difference between a trick board and a cruiser. So if you're going out for a long, long travel, always remember to bring your cruiser board with you. It's a little bit heavier, but you can get very far with it. And if you're in the neighborhood or going to a spot and pulling out of your car, I would say the trick board. Okay guys, so this concludes my video of the cruiser and the trick board. Whichever one you choose, it's up to you. Both of them are great. They're awesome. It's really good for cardiovascular. So that's that big heart muscle pumping as you cruise up and down the street. So guys, thank you very much for listening. Please give me feedback. I know this video was a little bit different than the others, but I'm willing to do it all over again for you. Alright guys, be safe, and remember, wear protective gear, because a safe skater is a skater forever.